Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. I know I am. Welcome to a London session. Okay, so in this session, essentially, we're going to be going over a couple of setups that I'm looking at. Really, I'm just going to give you guys a um, pre-weekly market breakdown, as you can call it. So we're going to be going through gold, GBP USD, Euro USD, AUD USD, Euro GBP, and USD CAD. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of inside looks into how I am analyzing the market and things like that. Hopefully, you guys can gain um, some type of value from this breakdown as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it with gold. All right. So what am I waiting on as it relates to gold? So gold, I'm going off of the higher time frame. Right. I'm using the daily and the H4 as my as the main time frame that I'm going to be trading off of. So for me personally, I will be calling out a trade to all of my students and trading community members once price hits this area here. So as we continue to push to the upside throughout the week, those of you a part of my mentorship program and trading community, you guys can be expecting a gold trade from me as price continues to move to the upside and taps into this region right here, right? So now let's get into GBP USD. Now I do trade the overlap. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, we're good to go. Okay, so GBP USD, I'll be looking for price to give me some type of reaction to this supply region here, right? And then I'll be looking for it to smash this target around 1.17598. So around London and New York session, I'll be looking for GBP USD to possibly push to the downside. Now, it isn't quite ready to push to the downside just yet, but I'll be looking for, signs of bearish intent on GBP USD. Like for example, if we go down to the H1 time frame, right, then you can simply just look for some type of change of momentum from this buy to a sell. And we can see that most of the sells came into the market here around price level 1.19231, right? So that is the point of control of this entire region here. So we could push to the upside just a little bit more before falling over to the downside. But if we do start to fall over to the downside, then I'll be looking for price to target this area here around 1.17598. So very, very straightforward. If you guys are on the stream and you do enjoy these live type of breakdowns, please feel free to leave a like on the stream. Much appreciated, right? So let's go ahead and move on to Euro USD, one of my favorite pairs. So I'm actually looking for sell opportunities right now for prices to hit this target down here within this region. Let's go ahead and mark that up. I actually have to upload this breakdown for all of my mentorship and community students here, so I need to do that after this webinar. We'll go ahead and handle that. So I'll be looking for a possible entry on a properly correlating time frame using this as my supply region on the macro, right? And I would just be looking for price to sell off and then hit this target down here. Now, it is valid for us to look for sells right now simply because I don't mind trading. Oh, this is actually really good. Okay, so I usually don't do this, but we're going to do it on this session here. All right, so if you really want to play it safe, feel free to cover these highs here. All right. I mean, this here is 17.8 pips in itself is a large stop loss. So we'll round that up to 18. But I'm giving you guys this trade based off of a certain type of entry. So this is not going to be the entry that I take. However, those of you all who don't know what entry method I do use, here's a free trade for you, about 7.54%. Should be very, very straightforward. So let's see how that trade plays out. My target's going to be based on my higher time frame, of course, right? So 0.99522. That's going to be where my target is, and then I'll be just looking for possible continuations if we can break this low here. Now let's get into AUD USD, which is probably my favorite setup currently. So we have three major confluences. The first one being this supply chain here. So we have a mitigation of this supply here, right? Price pushes to the downside, then price pushes back to the upside, taps into this previous supply, mitigates it, and then rolls over to the downside. And each time we tap into a previous supply chain, we see a lot of bearish momentum with these nice bearish pushes to the downside here, right? So a lot of bearish momentum. Give me 1 second, guys. My student just contacted me. 1 second. Okay. All right, nice. You guys might hear my phone vibrating in the background. Apologies if you can hear it going off. My students are up trading London, so some of them are contacting me about their setups and things like that. So we can see that after price continuously taps into these supply zones, that's creating the supply chain, we can see a nice push to the downside. So what I'll be anticipating and expecting is for AUD USD to push to the upside here within this region, and then we can use a proper micro time frame to possibly look for a sell. Now, for day trading purposes, I do have these M15 zones here, right? That we could possibly take a day trading entry from, right, and possibly look for nice push to the downside. That's also what I'll be looking for as it relates to day trading AUD USD, right? But as it relates to a higher time frame trade, this is what I'm looking to get into, and then my target is going to be 0.67192 for various reasons, right? So that's what I'm looking at for AUD USD. Let's go ahead and mark that up. And we'll go ahead and mark Euro USD up as well. All right, so next on our list is going to be Euro GBP, right? So we're going to start off on the weekly time frame. So based on the weekly time frame, we definitely have a little bit of demand here that caused price to push to the upside and take out this supply here, right? As well as we pretty much sweep above all of this liquidity here, all of it, right? With this nice wick push to the upside. I believe this wick is reaching, not necessarily rejecting, so I do think that we're going to see higher pricing for Euro GBP. We pushed to the downside. We created a bullish weekly pin bar. So these buy positions that I'm about to take, I'll actually be looking to target these highs right up here as a higher time frame swing target, right? But right now, what I'll be looking to do is, so let's go ahead and put this on here. YouTube heard it first. You guys actually heard it before, my mentorship students. So if you do take the entries that I'm about to show you based on the higher time frame, then you guys can feel free to target 0.87213. This should be a decent trade that we can definitely collect a good amount of percentages on. right? So now let's go ahead and jump to the H4 time frame, right? We can see that this is definitely weekly demand here. All right, so on the H4 time frame, right, I'm essentially, oh, okay, let's move this. Hold on. Here we go. Right, so my first area or point of interest that I'm looking to buy from on Euro GBP is going to be this area right here, right? Around 0.84814, right? I do have an alert set right now. We can see that price is barely tapped into this area, but I'll be looking for a deeper mitigation, so I won't necessarily count this here. But once this alert does go off, right, I'll definitely be looking for possible buy opportunities. Now, my apex is going to be down here within this area around 0.84412, right? This is my end all be all. We definitely have a little bit of inducement resting in the form of these lows here, right? So there's definitely the liquidity resting above this region. So price could, push the downside tap into this area here. However, I'll be looking for price to possibly give me an entry here and then give us a nice push to the upside, possibly, up into this region here. But of course, you guys know how price is going to play out. It's not going to go straight to the upside, of course, right? It's going to do, what price does, and then we may push to the downside, come all the way down here, push back to the upside. So don't expect, price to just come in here and then straight push to the upside. So definitely keep that in mind if you are going to be holding a runner. My immediate target, however, is going to be right here around 0.85138, right? And then, of course, I'll be holding a runner to possibly hit, our higher time frame target based on the weekly time frame. All right, last but not least, we're going to be going over USD CAD. Not necessarily a pair that I trade during London session, but it is a pair that I trade during New York. So those of you who trade New York, you could possibly hop into this trade as well. So this is very, very simple, very straightforward. So I have this point of interest here based on the H4 time frame around price level 1.29773. Right, and then we also have a point of interest down here within this area around price level 1.28681. All right, so I'll be looking for price to possibly tap into these regions, and then for buyers to take over, and for us to head for this target right up here around 1.32237, right here as my higher time frame target. Solid. All right, guys, so with that being said, that pretty much wraps up our pre-London live, right? Frankfurt opens at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, you guys know that the London markets really start to move around 8 a.m. UK time or GMT time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this session up here. I'm going to go ahead and get back to responding to students and answering questions. If you guys do have any questions, of course, always feel free to reach out to me. Thank you guys for all the support. If you're watching this stream, please leave a like on the stream. It definitely helps out. Much appreciated. And I will catch you guys on the next stream, which will be tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you there for pre-New York session. Much love, guys.